villains are the worst. Not only have they chosen the side of evil, which already bad start, there's also a good chance that they've decided to dress up like it's Halloween and worked up 45 minutes of self-aggrandizing explanation ready for when you meet.
A philosopher once said, "It is no nation we inhabit, but a language."
Maybe the objective is to bore me to death, in which case, mission accomplished. By far their most perplexing trait, though, is their tendency to go to extreme lengths to capture you, create the perfect conditions to kill you, and then squander the whole opportunity, only to act surprised later on when you return leveled up and ready to show them the proper way to dispose of an enemy. Fools! If you're a villain, watch on for what not to do as we look at 7 villains that for some reason spared your life and went on to regret it. And do beware spoilers for the following games.
This is Zeta Team. High Council in position, holding perimeter. Repeat, High Council is secured.
This is Commander Roy. The entire High Council is here to personally oversee our victory. Hold the perimeter at all costs.
There's no more omnipresent threat in the Tomb Raider series than the Order of Trinity. Well, unless you count Lara's relentless, creepy butler, Winston. If I take the tea, will you leave me alone forever? Anyway, the Order of Trinity, a secretive and fanatical religious order which predates Jesus, Trinity infiltrated the Catholic Church and seeks to control all of humanity via conspiracies involving various ancient artifacts. Not to be confused with the Templar Order in Assassin's Creed, who are a very different thing, okay? Top of the agenda for Trinity during the events of Rise of the Tomb Raider is to discredit the Croft family. Not for their endless stealing of sacred artifacts, cultural vandalism, or wholesale slaughter of endangered animals, but rather because they've been getting a bit too close to spilling the tea on the secret to immortality, which Trinity is keen to keep for themselves.
What would you do with the artifact? Show it to the world. Redeem your father's good name.
Trinity gets the perfect chance to make sure Lara shuts up about immortals permanently at the end of Rise of the Tomb Raider, when one of their snipers has a clear line of sight on both Lara and senior Trinity agent Anna. As is standard practice for ranged shooters with a sense of dramatic irony, this Trinity sniper waits until just before Anna's about to divulge something crucial about Trinity's plan to Lara before shooting her dead.
I loved it.
No!
Textbook sniping all round. As you'd expect, this leaves the Trinity sniper in a perfect position to off Lara as well. Remember Trinity? Lara Croft? The one who's been digging around in your centuries-old secret affairs and just demolished your paramilitary force with an army of immortals? What about her?
No. Not yet.
Because apparently Trinity has a grander plan afoot, which is to let Lara live so she can get another entire sequel, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, during which she goes so far as to accidentally trigger an apocalypse in her attempts to stop this ancient organisation. Trinity's leader Dominguez, his entire army, Top Lieutenant Commander Rourke, and the Trinity High Council have all been decimated by the end of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
The High Council's been slaughtered. Commander Rourke, we need your orders. Rourke's dead too. What? Then who the f***'s in charge?
This weakens the last remnants of the Order enough that the whole of Trinity falls into powerless obscurity. All of which is enough to make you wonder if it wasn't worth just taking the shot after all. Maybe Trinity's snipers have to pay for their bullets out of their own pocket or something. And can you imagine Trinity's expenses system? Probably not worth the bother.
How did you find me?
The apple you stole from Mario Auditore, let me hear.
Kill him! Kill the assassin! Tear the maldito to pieces!
There's no more omnipresent threat in the Assassin's Creed series than the Templars. A secretive and fanatical religious order which predates Jesus, the Templar Order infiltrated the Catholic Church and seeks to control all of humanity via various conspiracies involving ancient artifacts. Not to be confused with Tomb Raider's Order of Trinity, who are a very different thing, okay? But whereas Trinity's all faceless mercs and smear campaigns, the Templars have a much more charismatic figurehead in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. One Cesare Borgia, a nobleman and megalomaniac who kills his dad, totally doesn't fancy his own sister, and who will stop at nothing to obtain the Apple of Eden and enslave humanity. Well, almost nothing. Borgia and his army lay siege to the Brotherhood at Monteriggioni, where the apple's being held, and do it with apparent ease, which makes it a bit weird that they don't do a more thorough job of massacring while they're there. And this isn't a classic case of a villain who'd rather deliver a pompous monologue than just kill you either, because Cesare's speechwriters have given him just enough punchy lines to make his point before he shoots and kills Ezio's uncle Mario. At precisely the same moment, Ezio is shot by Mr. Borgia's old-timey snipers and falls from the rooftops, at which point the Templars decide, good enough, he's probably dead. In fairness, this is the Middle Ages, and I'm not sure how rigorous autopsy exams were in this period. Maybe throw a leech on him and see what happens? In a twist that literally everyone except the people featured in this video would see coming, it turns out that Ezio is the opposite of dead.
I am still very much alive.
Not just alive, but so alive that he's able to rebuild the Brotherhood in Rome, cut off Cesare's supplies of funding and military support, recapture the Apple of Eden, and eventually, as the cherry on top of this revenge sundae, kill Cesare. All of which makes it even more preposterous that the Templars didn't kill Lara all those years later when they had the chance.
That was Trinity.
Right. Don't know why I keep mixing them up. They're so different.
You left the bag on his head? Well, can he breathe? Did you at least punch holes so he doesn't suffocate? Hello. Did we enjoy our time with the CIA?
In terms of missed opportunities to murder the protagonist, no one fumbles harder than Pagan Min at the start of Far Cry 4. You're still in the opening cutscene when AI-generated America's Next Top Model judge Pagan Min makes his entrance by helicopter and prevents you from being shot to death by his guards.
I distinctly remember saying, stop the bus. Yes, stop the bus. Not shoot the bus.
It would have been simplicity itself for Min to have let his eager foot soldiers execute you, the fledgling hero of Far Cry 4, before you'd even had time to unpack.
I'm so sorry about this. This was supposed to be... well, not this.
Instead, he intervenes to spare your life. If he knew then quite how efficiently you would go on to take down his entire dictatorship and turn the local wildlife in his country into ammo belts, he might have gone with a different strategy here. Admittedly, this villain had his reasons for keeping you alive at this early point in the game, to do with having been in love with your mum, and we don't need to get into it here. But Pagan much later then squanders a second golden opportunity to kill you while you're unarmed and helpless, and provably quite a dangerous person to have running or hang gliding around your kingdom. By the 21st mission, after 20 missions of you systematically deconstructing Pagan Min's dictatorship, he captures you and throws you in a Durgesh prison cell.
Welcome to Durgesh. I apologize for the Spartan accommodations, but you have been a naughty little haven't you? Gallivanting about with a golden path.
Now, this really would be the perfect time to get rid of you when you're imprisoned, unarmed, and helpless. And yet...
Whatever, you've seen him. He's still breathing. Now go away, I've got work to do.
Fine. But I want him alive, with all the bits that count intact.
Instead of giving you a nice, neat execution, Pagan Min rushes off, leaving you in an easily escapable prison, presumably because RuPaul needs his suit back urgently for the new series of Drag Race.
Oh, and one final piece of advice. I wouldn't sleep too close to the edge. Whatever you say.
He'll definitely regret this, because you'll go on to single-handedly wrestle control of the region away from him and, depending on your decisions during the ending, shoot him dead. Or listen to him while he explains that you're basically family and he never wanted to hurt you, before you triumphantly shoot his helicopter out of the sky. And all because Pagan Min couldn't bring himself to shoot someone. I guess violence just isn't in his nature.
I hate when things get out of control.
Okay, well then. Your guess is as good as mine.
There's no escape. I've tried.
The key to being a good leader is to avoid the temptation to micromanage. Sorry, who wrote this? They've put micromanage as 2 words? Well, tell them they're fired! However, Martin Lee obviously hasn't touched his copy of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because his pedantic timekeeping stops his henchman from killing Miles Morales when he looks like this. So now Martin Lee has to spend a whole sequence in the sequel fighting him when he looks like this. Seriously, where do these villains keep getting called to at short notice? Is it Amazon deliveries? Just leave them in a safe place. In 2018's Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles is just a plucky kid with a curious nature and a knack for crouch running, which makes this the perfect time for Mr. Negative and his criminal group, the Inner Demons, to dispatch Miles before he becomes awesomely superpowered. So, when one of Mr. Negative's henchmen spots Miles searching for his dad during an award ceremony gone wrong, and Miles is armed with only an iron bar, the most likely outcome by far is that said henchman will kill Miles with a massive glowing sword.
No!
Which he's just about to do, before being pulled away by Martin Lee at an improbably crucial moment because... Help me up, Martin.
Enough! We have to leave. Now!
Because they have to leave now, but not so urgently that they need to break into a run or even walk briskly. Sounds important. Martin Lee probably realised that was a mistake by the time of the sequel, in which he ends up locked in an arena with a now superpowered and vengeful Miles.
You don't get to walk away from what you did! The inner demons, devil's breath, the city hall bombing!
Don't recount my sins to me! I know what I did.
You have no idea!
Because before, Miles' best attack was hitting you with an iron bar if I don't drop it first, and now it's punching his way through your super special negative energy field.
You stay down! Do you feel any regret for what you've done?
Then again, New York City library late fees are no joke, and Martin Lee clearly needs to renew his copy of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I assume that's where he was off to.
Keep your guns trained on him. If he even looks like he's planning to leave that room, open fire.
Batman's shtick is that unlike most people with his penchant for figure-hugging clothing and capes, he doesn't actually have any superpowers. That being said, it's entirely possible he was once bitten by a radioactive Kevlar vest, because damn is this guy lucky around bullets. Exhibit A of Bruce Wayne's improbable good fortune near bad guys with guns comes in Batman Arkham Knight, which features a new villain of the same name.
This ends tonight.
Despite his mysterious appearance, the Arkham Knight is later revealed to be Jason Todd, one of Batman's former Robins who apparently never got an exit interview, so is now taking out all his pent-up job grievances on the Dark Knight.
Jason, but you're dead.
Among numerous occasions when Arkham Knight could easily have just killed Batman and got on with his life as an elite-level cosplayer is this scene, in which he manages to ambush Batman, knock him to the ground and pin him down, whereupon he has several centuries to line up a clear shot. That's it. Think about it. Where's going to do the most damage? Oh, right in the body armour. That's going to leave some mild bruising, possibly. Someone who is less of a tactical genius than the wily Arkham Knight might have opted for Batman's famously unarmoured lower face in that moment, but that's the difference between a non-recurring bit character and a villain with his eyes on a spin-off. You can't make more Batman games without the Batman, and the Arkham Knight knows it. Until that spin-off arrives though, all he has to show for his moment of mercy is a stern talking to from Batman that makes him realise his entire purpose has been nonsense, a subsequent career as a jobbing mercenary, and a staggeringly uncool name change to Red Hood. Your superhero name can't just be the clothes you're wearing. There's a reason why Superman isn't called Blue Tights and Batman isn't called Kevlar Codpiece, you know.
Ah, the child of Baal has awoken. It is time for more experiments. The pain will only be passing. You should survive the process.
Back in the year 2000, Black Isle Studios wrote one of the great video game bad guys for their new RPG, Bouldersgate 2. A power-mad elven mage shunned from society for his ruthless ways, this villain manages to capture your character and their party and performs grisly experiments on them in a bid to harness their power. Run for your lives, everybody, because here comes John.
Not but their names. The mage is John Irenicus. The girl is Imoen.
Why the writers decided to give such a prosaic name to their magical villain is anyone's guess. But let's just be thankful this trend didn't catch on, or we'd have spent the next few years attempting to stop Brian, the Daedric Prince of Destruction, or surviving the cruel lab experiments of Susan, the rogue Aperture Science AI. John Irenicus, really trying to yank the steering wheel back towards fantasy with that surname, hey, has one other major weakness, in that he's obviously never played an RPG before. Pro tip for you, John. If you're going to capture the protagonist and try to harvest their soul power to make yourself more powerful, maybe don't do it when that protagonist is a level 1 nobody.
I won't let you leave, not when I'm so close to unlocking your power.
And yet that really is John's grand plan. He's built a massive facility down here where he's been holding your party for literally months, torturing you daily to learn the secrets of your incredible, unfathomable abilities. In other words, a man capable of building this facility, capturing you and trapping you in it is trying to uncover the secrets of how you can melee a level 1 kobold to death with 3 friends and a short sword. That was his first mistake. His second mistake was capturing and torturing a Baalspawn, the offspring of the literal god of murder, and not disposing of said baby Baalspawn before it could be freed.
Wake up, you. Wake up. Come on. We have to get out of here.
For Baalspawn you are, and so after you escape the facility, you go on to inevitably, heroically, level up a bunch more times, realizing your Baalspawn potential, and then returning to confront him hundreds of hours later. This is bad news for John because now you're considerably more powerful than he is and can kill him without breaking a sweat.
To end like this?
Now, who can tell me why that was a bad idea? Pagan Min? Cesare Borgia? Any of you? Ah, that's right. All dead, aren't you?
That's better. Now only you can hear me. And that's the way you're gonna want it, because I'm your only way out of here.
Most villains on this list are people who do actually want you dead, but let their hubris or busy schedules get in the way of actually achieving it. This time, however, it's a villain who's actively profiting from keeping you alive, and whose hubris is stopping him from even realizing that he probably should have dealt with you by now. Killed you is what I mean. I'm realizing I have to spell it out for these guys. There was a time when Lionel Starkweather from Manhunt was a legitimate film director, making a living out in Rockstar's legally distinct Vinewood, before a succession of commercial flops taught him that his talents were better served making movies for the kind of people who throw their hard drives out of the window when they hear a knock at the door.
Beautiful. You're warming up our audience nicely.
Which leads to the events of Manhunt, Rockstar's 2003 action game about an escaped death row prisoner forced into killing people on film while rich strangers watch. And as the director of this dark material, Starkweather's giving you, protagonist James Earl Cash, notes on your performance via an earpiece. Yeah, I just didn't really believe that one, James. Can we try it again? Okay, yeah, I believe that one. Starkweather should probably have realised that you'd come for him one day after kidnapping your family and having them all executed, something that people usually take quite badly. As the puppet master who's orchestrating every scene you contend with, all he'd really have to do is give all your enemies guns and body armor to ensure a 0% chance of being brutally murdered with a chainsaw by you at some point later in the game. But he's having too much fun watching his creative vision come to life on screen, and by the time you break free from his elaborate film set and storm his compound, the writing's on the wall, along with some other messier stuff.
I made you!
And that's all that YouTube's going to let us show you today. I've just remembered why we don't talk about Manhunt more often.
An unknown assailant infiltrated the compound, killing Starkweather, but more interestingly, leading police to the site of a snuff film ring being run from the estate's confines.
So those are some villains who let their heroes live on purpose or by accident and very much regretted it. So the moral is like, if you've got them, just dispose, done, do it straight away, and then evil plans can carry on, you know? That's how you do it. But can you think of any other examples? Let us know in the comments down below. And we have some other videos here from Outside Xbox and Outside Xtra. If you want to subscribe, that helps, and you can get notifications of future videos, and you can support us even further by joining our Patreon. But in the meantime, take care, and yeah, try and if you're a good guy, try and get one of the villains to just keep talking and then sneak off, and then you'll come back and smush them later.